The goal today, of course, is to introduce teenagers and teachers as well to a concept called STEM through the lens of aviation. STEM being science, technology, engineering, and math, and really applying book knowledge to practical things like the speed of an airplane, how far the airplane glides, what a wind tunnel does, and how we collect the data that results in products in airplanes and wind turbines. Yeah, we've had a full range of activities for the kids, interspersed with some ground instruction and some of the more technical classroom type stuff. We've done glide tests where the students are trying to determine the glide angle and the glide ratio of a simple balsa glider. And then from there, calculating out the lift and the drag on that glider. We've also then powered them up with rubber bands and propellers, and they're doing speed tests around pylons. So they're timing the laps, they're counting the laps, and then we're taking what we know about geometry and circles with circumference, figuring out the distance traveled, coming up with the time and the distance and also the speed. We've also talked about measurement errors. If we're taking a lab that nothing's ever perfect, there are errors in measurements both on instruments and with the human factors as well.
So my role was to come learn alongside students and really gain and collaborate with the team that's here. It was a unique situation because most teacher trainings, you're in a silo with a bunch of teachers, so you don't get to make the observation of how students are learning the content, so you have to take it back and pilot it, where today we were able to learn side by side. So if there were challenges, it helps me as a teacher and an educator to know where kids are maybe struggling, where they might need more help, and then also to actually get to see somebody model the teaching. So some of the tricks and some of the actual tips that he was using, the real life examples that connected kids to content, was a huge benefit for me. And then from an aviation career, I've talked to a couple of the kids. Some of them want to be pilots, some of them don't. And so it's really nice to see that they're including the parts of engineering, they're including the pilot's part, but taking what they're learning in school right now and bringing it to life, I think is really important for these kids today that they don't get in the traditional classroom setting.
I came to the Ace Academy Learning Lab because when I grow up I want to start out as a military fighter pilot, hopefully with the U.S. Air Force, and then after that possibly go on to either aviation or get a business degree and hopefully become a major international airline CEO of my own airline.
I am a pilot myself, and that's why I'm involved. Personally, I am committed to getting girls involved in aviation because there's still 6 to 10% of all aviators are females. And I think that a lot of girls don't know what they're capable of doing. This year we've had a lot more females than I think we've ever had in the past. So it's getting out there.
It's always been my dream to own like my own private helicopter or plane and get into aviation and become a pilot, and so that's what initially drew me to this. I've totally learned about recreational flying, but also commercial flying and piloting and all the different occupations that are actually involved with aviation. It goes way over my head. I didn't even know that there were so many, so giving that huge introduction to it and also understanding the mechanics behind flying. So we're doing a living lab today, and being able to construct the airplane and then doing all the calculations and lab behind that. You might be able to get that in a science classroom, but having someone one-on-one that actually does these things and teaches these things is super cool.
We've been extremely happy to partner with Boise State, and one of the outreach goals is to bring aviation to other sectors and working together. Boise State is a perfect campus right next door to Boise Airport. They have a wind tunnel that we're touring today, so it really brings different stakeholders together. Boise State's engineering programs here, we've also got the other STEM programs here. Now we have the link to aviation. Our hope is that the students will walk away with a better appreciation of why they're learning the things they're learning in school and that there are practical applications. And then for the teachers, if they can take those practical things that they did in this lab and bring them into the classroom, it really gives equations and math and science and all of that much better context for the kids.